So friends, welcome to part 7. We will look at some more questions on AZ 400. This is a DevOps specific certification. If you have not yet subscribed, this channel will help you with cloud certifications, Azure, AWS and Google. So let us look at this question is about Azure Artifacts, which is used to create, host and share packages in your team. So here you see all the packages are mentioned here. So in this question, you want to use artifacts to share your packages. You want to use a solitary feed. What is a solitary feed? A solitary feed is a dedicated repository for storing and managing artifacts. And the release development should be restricted. What following action should we take? What is static code analysis? You can examine the source code without executing it. Remember, you don't have to run the source code. You can examine it without executing. Why are you examining? What do you want? Why are you doing x-ray? You want to check the cracks in the bone. Here, why are you examining? You want to know what are the errors, vulnerability, maybe security and quality issues. See, here this will not work. Why it will not work? Because boss, you have already tested your code. So why are you going to test it again? Dynamic code analysis, runtime, you are testing this. You are again verifying. What are you verifying? Bones, crack in the bones, vulnerabilities, performance issues. But runtime testing, that means you are executing your code. You are executing your code. You are executing your code. Didn't I say you have already tested your code? So why is this required? What are upstream sources? External repositories like GitHub, GitLab. That is not required. They are saying, guys, let's make use of upstream sources like GitHub and those products. Let's make use of such products for release. That may not be mandatory. Before we use a rocket, have we tried a plane? Have we tried a helicopter? So views. See these, you can filter your work items. Filter, that is very important. And you can have a customizable way to view and manage your backlog tasks bugs. Like in a table, there is a database table. If you have some database knowledge, um, there's a table, and table has data for US, India, Singapore, Australia, United Kingdom and so on. You are only interested in the data in USA. So you can create a view which will only pick USA data. That is possible. Similarly here, we use views because it can apply filters. So this will help you to make sure that release of packages data and development is restricted. And we told that we want to use a solitary feed. So option B would be our answer. See, this is the next question, okay? You need to recommend project metrics. So which chart widgets would you recommend? For example, so these are widgets, okay? These are chart widgets. So velocity, what is velocity used for? In cricket, at what run rate can Virat Kohli score? If he plays 20 matches, at what run rate can he score? Well, that is the velocity metrics. Amount of work a team can consistently deliver over a fixed period of time. For example, in a month, how much amount of work they can deliver? Like how many story points? If you know agile world, how many story points can they deliver? That is your velocity. If you have a lot of junior people, maybe you can drive uh, 5 story points. If you have good amount of senior people with good work experience and they are fast workers, you may deliver 10 story points. Each story point can be of uh, 2 mandates. What is a burn down chart? You can track progress or sprint over time. Burn down means uh, remaining, it shows remaining work effort, like in hours. Sorry, for example, it you will come to know that okay, out of 30 story points, 5 is done, 25 is remaining. So 25 is your burn down metrics. But in the burn down chart, that is what. So as the project progresses, remaining work should decrease ideally at a steady pace. But what actually happens in IT companies like Infosys, TCS, etc., as time progresses, your work also increases. Why? You know why? Uh, it may not be. See, scope creep is one. That is one. But nowadays, do you wonder why scope creep happens? Because you know that is the guy who's sitting next to you. This guy gets an H1B visa. Okay, he goes to US. After 2 years, this guy becomes your client. Okay, so this why this guy was stupid here. Okay, just because in H1B he got a lottery, he thinks he is intelligent. Okay, he may be stupid. So if he is intelligent, well and good. If he has that kind of roles and responsibilities in India, he goes to US also and does a pretty great job. But if this guy is stupid and he becomes your client, that stupidity is carried for the whole life. And now that stupidity is the reason for scope creeps. That is a problem. Okay, great. Enough of knowledge. Cycle time. What is cycle time? It's a key metric that measures the elapsed time when a work item enters the development process and when it is completed. So, and released to production. That means like to the time developers are working on it, that is your cycle time. Okay, so somebody says, hey, what's your cycle time for this kind of story card? So it can be 2 days, it can be 3 days. That is the cycle time. And what is lead time? It refers to the amount of time it takes for a change to be introduced into production from the moment it's first committed to the source code repository. That's your lead time. So normally, if you talk to uh, like your client, suppose it's an international client, if you're talking to them, someone from US or Canada or Australia, so they usually ask like, you know, they're usually polite and they say, hey, you know what, I thought of this requirement and it's a last minute entry. What can be the lead time to implement this? So they are polite enough. If the lead time is high, they may think of putting it in the next sprint. If the lead time is not significant, just a couple of days, they may want to squeeze it in this sprint based on the bandwidth. Okay, but that will only happen if you have white people or Afro Americans and those kind of people as your client. If you have an Indian as a client, this guy will straight away say, hey, you know what is there, man? Just take four hours and implement it, man. I can do it in 1 hour. So the moment he says, I can do it in 1 hour, you should tell him, sir, you do it, sir. Okay, you do it. Either he is of Elon Musk category, he may really do it in 1 hour, or he is just a stupid person who got his H1 and he's lucky guy. So you know that there are two types of people in, especially in US, Canada, Australia. Okay, they are ideally intelligent or they are lucky, intelligent or lucky. Oi, lucky, lucky, oi. That is a kind of people. So this is my answer. Okay, I've explained what is lead time, cycle time, burn down, the elapsed time from the creation of work items, that is lead time, the elapsed time to complete the work item, cycle time, and the remaining work is burn down. Okay. So let us look at some more questions. You manage an Azure web app that supports e-commerce website. So what is this guy, you know so this is your web app. So what you can do, you can create and deploy mission critical web applications. So it is all about web applications at scale for your business. Something like Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, web application. It is not about business analytics. It is not about reports. It is not about advanced analytics, data science. No, man. It is purely about websites, web applications. See, you want to increase the logging level, like like every day I get a workload which is manageable, but sometimes it exceeds the normal expectations, normal patterns. So you need to increase the logging level. You need to understand who is doing that. These can be genuine new users, or these can be hackers. They are trying to fuck your system. It can be anything. So what do? You have to minimize the administrative workload. Which two resources? So administrative workload. That means there are other solutions which might work just fine, but they may not be minimizing the workload. So in the cloud world, it's all about being miser, being lazy, being miser, being lazy, being miser, being lazy. So being lazy, what will you do? You will minimize the administrative overhead. So what is automation runbook? These are different types of runbooks: PowerShell, Python, graphical. So in the automated way, you can execute these runbooks based on certain logical definitions, and they are reusable scripts, workflows. You can use them for configuration management, task automations, system administration. So it will automate these all processes. So this is exactly what we need. System administrator, we want to reduce his efforts, his or her efforts. So this is definitely we want to have this. And then we got uh, Azure Monitor Alert. So this system alerts. So it will send you alerts which will help you detect and address issues before users notice them. That means these alerts are proactive, so that before the users wake up in the morning and log into the systems, you can fix these errors because you already got alerted. So again, you can be lazy, you can be sleeping, and uh, the your uh, mobile system just buzzes and says, hey, you got an alert, something is not great with your system. And then you can log in and look at it, and then fix it if you can. Or you can just ask the team in India to fix it for you, because you just have the H1, you don't have the skills. So you can ask your team in India to do that. Or you may be a US citizen. So why is there a need to work if you are a US citizen? You can let uh, the team in India do the job for you. That is great, but there are two options here which can be confusing, and we need to understand: should we use an alert that has a dynamic threshold, or should we use something which has a static threshold? So we should use something which is dynamic, because sometimes uh, you know the number of users, these may just be genuine users, maybe 10,000 of them just logged in because of the popularity of your web application. So we keep it dynamic, the threshold, and then that can be our second answer, because we are supposed to choose two resources. So these can be our two resources. Why not auto scale settings? So auto scale, that means it is a scale up solution, and here we are more worried about logs. We are not worried about automatic scale ups. That is not the requirement here. And then E says we use Azure Monitor Alert, that uses action group, that has an email action, so that you know uh, I can This guy can just alert you over email and then say that your system is not performing. But more than that, we need two resources. We we want a dynamic threshold. We want an automation runbook. That these are two of our resources, because we want to reduce the administrative overhead, and that's why we choose options A and B as our answer. So onboard the cloud journey, AWS, Google, and Azure cloud certifications. So this channel has so many contents, around close to 950 videos. All of them are still relevant because the course content has not changed significantly over the past 3 4 years. They have in fact added more services, and they have decommissioned very less amount of services. So you can keep practicing these questions. The more you practice, the sharper you get, and the sharper you get, the luckier you get with your project search, with switching jobs across different organizations, or within the same organization you want to look for promotions, moving up the ladder. This will help you with that. See you in the next part. And there is an opportunity for you to become a cloud kernel and a cloud ninja member. We post a lot of questions there. Those are all important for you to clear the certifications. So do not miss out on them. It's a very small premium, but then you just get quality content uploaded there.